Well, hello, everyone. It's great to be back on YourTV as I provide another update for the city of Belleville as we deal with month 15 of the COVID-19 pandemic and the coronavirus that has certainly taken over the entire world and interrupted our lives. It is a little bit strange for me, or surreal perhaps is a better word, just to be thinking about where we were a year ago in terms of messaging, expectations, and managing the COVID situation. None of us back then thought we would still be dealing with it a year later. But yet we are, and we have been doing as well as we possibly can. I know it's been troubling and fatiguing and stressful, and so many of our residents have sacrificed so much. And we're all in the same boat, but we're doing the best we can. And I'm so proud of everyone's efforts as we're moving forward. And it's nice to be able to provide some really, really good news for this week, which is the week of May the 3rd. This week started off with only 2 new cases of COVID-19 in our Hastings and Prince Edward Health Unit. And that dropped our number of active cases down to 68, which is a significant reduction. And I know that over the next number of weeks, we're going to see that number go up and down as it has through COVID. But it is important to recognize the hard work that everyone's been doing. You know, other parts of Ontario do not see this corresponding drop in their case counts. And from the very beginning, I really believe this is because we care about each other and we're willing to sacrifice, not just for ourselves and for our families, but also for our friends and our neighbors and everyone else in our community. So thank you so very, very much. And so, you know, those 3 W's that I've always been talking about, wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance when you're out. And so wear a mask always when you're indoors, and even wear a mask outdoors when you can't socially distance. Those are the things that we've been doing that truly make a huge difference when it comes to this virus. So I encourage people to keep doing it. Those 68 active cases I just referred to brings our total since the beginning of COVID-19 to 944 total cases. Unfortunately, we've had 9 fatalities. And what I've been watching and I've been speaking about the last few weeks is those variants of concerns, the mutations of the original coronavirus that are now seeing in differences. We've now had about a third of the total cases we've ever had are now part of those variants of concern. So there's 330 of them. And that is, it's troubling, but let's remember the fact that we've seen such a great drop in the number in our region, and we'll keep working. Staying on the positive news, this week we started off with just under 61,000 vaccinations that have been issued to our residents and in our region. 5,229 just in the last 7 days. So, and that's with a very limited supply. We are anticipating next week that we will start getting more supply. I mentioned in my report last week that typically we get about 25 to 3,700 vaccines for our entire region per week. And that dropped a little bit last week because of the redirection of some of those vaccines to what we call hotspots in Ontario. But starting next week, we're going to be receiving 3 times what we've had in the past. So about 10,000 vaccines per week moving forward. That is really good news because that's going to allow us to expand those who were qualified to be able to get the vaccines now, or eligible, I guess is a better word than qualified. We're all qualified, but those 10,000 vaccines a week will allow so many people to become eligible to receive their first dose and then start giving people their second dose, which is terrific. 34% of everyone in Hastings and Prince Edward's region for the health unit have received at least 1 vaccine, so 1 vaccine dose. So that is terrific, terrific news. And then the last thing, if you remember last week, I made a big deal about the fact that we're number 1 in per capita testing in all of Ontario. Well, we had another great week. We now this week pushed above 132,000 tests that were done to verify that people don't have COVID or they do have COVID and what steps to take. And that's so important. And I want to thank everybody who's been part of all those efforts, both on the vaccination front, but also on the testing front, and all the people that have been cooperating so well. There isn't really a lot of news this week. We will have a city council meeting next week, so I'll have a lot more for you then. But what I can tell you and remind everybody that is on May the 8th, so in this weekend, is the Trash Bash for the Quinte region, where the municipalities of Belleville, Quinte West, Prince Edward County, and others, we come together and we do an outdoor cleanup of our community, not just to remove trash, but also to protect our environment. That is on May the 8th. Here is some information on the City of Belleville website, which talks about where you can pick up materials such as garbage bags and gloves and things that you may need, as well as where to take your full bags of trash to. And a lot of that information is available online. You can also pick up some kits here at Belleville City Hall. And we appreciate everybody who, again, cares about our community in helping to keep it clean and beautiful. The outdoor area in the city is looking good. We've had some rain, so the grass is nice and green, but we are looking good for summer and certainly getting ready for it. And in the future, I will have some pictures of our outdoor staff who are getting our flowers ready. The greenhouse is under operation now, but also just the regular maintenance. We are expecting that you will be much happier this year with the state of our outdoor parks and playgrounds and all those facilities, because we took steps last year to reduce our expenses and we didn't hire the temporary summer staff. This year we are moving ahead with it, so we'll be able to do a better job, what you're expected, what you're used to, and we're looking forward to that. And it's nice to be able to tell you as well that things are looking pretty good in terms of lake levels for the Bay of Quinte, as well as the water levels on the Moira River. You know, a couple of years ago, we've had flooding on Lake Ontario, which really impacted us along the Bay of Quinte shoreline. And the City of Belleville has been quite adamant about the International Joint Commission that manages the water levels of Lake Ontario, that they had to change what they've been doing. One of the silver linings of COVID is that they have had less shipping traffic in 2020. So that allowed them really to let a lot more water out to get the level of the lake down. But we continue to monitor it because we're only a few, a week or so of rain away from having those levels go back up again, but we're looking good there. And the Moira River is also looking good in terms of managing those water levels. So we're not concerned about a risk of flooding at this point. We will see how the summer goes, because sometimes Mother Nature can change things very, very quickly. But it's nice that with everything we have to worry about with COVID, we're not having to worry about our water levels. Some of you may have already been receiving census information in the mail, and this year the federal government does a census, which is basically an enumeration of all Canadians, where they live. They get some information about them, size of family, a number of questions, and you'll be getting a code in the mail to allow you to go online and to fill out the census. Because of COVID-19, the federal government is not sending out what we've known in the past as census takers, people who would go out and they would ask you the questions and fill out the census. They're asking you to go online and stay, keep on top of your mail, because you'll be getting your code for how to do that. I want to finish off this week with a really, really great news story. Many of you remember last week we recognized the quick thinking of one of our city employees, Glenn, who knocked on folks' door and alerted them that their house was on fire, and saved their lives. Well, today I made a presentation to Belleville Transit driver Mike Todd. And Mike Todd was driving a bus, and when one of his passengers had a seizure. And so he stopped the bus. They contacted the paramedics, and he immediately went to help her with it. And then when the paramedics arrived on scene, he went out to help direct them. And this woman actually got out of the bus, and it was very dangerous with traffic. And so he was very quick and cared about his passengers, and went and brought her to safety. I was so pleased today to recognize Mike Todd for his heroism and his compassion for Belleville residents by helping to save this woman's life. We are always proud of all of our employees, but today we are especially proud of Mike Todd. and all of his colleagues. And I know that all residents of Belleville join me in being grateful that we have so many wonderful women and men who work for the city of Belleville. So that is it for this week as I come to you from my office here on the 4th floor at Belleville City Hall. You know, in the past, I've shown you some of the work that's being done to renovate the Belleville City Council chambers for the first time since 1988. We are soon going to be finished that work, hopefully just in time for Belleville City Council to come back and meet in person again, because we've been meeting virtually for the past number of meetings. But that'll be exciting. And I always am so proud to show off over my right shoulder, so left on your screen, a beautiful picture that local photographer Mark Hopper took and presented to me, and we've got it here in my office in Belleville City Hall. And when people come and visit me, so it hasn't been a lot in the last 15 months, but when I do get visitors here in Belleville City Hall, everybody talks about what a beautiful picture that Mark Hopper has taken, and it's one of the things I'm so proud of. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody for your cooperation. A big thank you to YourTV and all the staff and the volunteers for allowing me this opportunity to communicate directly with you. And if you have any questions for me or for any member of Belleville City Council, all of our contact information is on the Belleville City website. We encourage you to reach out to us, and we ask you to stay safe, and we'll look forward to providing another update next week from the city of Belleville as we deal with COVID-19. Take care.